close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon. Turn us to thousands, and on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lions gonna come. The birds have just begun.
We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
Seeing monsters at your window. No, you can't sleep. You pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm, when the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. When your nightmares turn to real life and the ground's filled up with landmines, we will face it standing side by side. You know I'll come running when you need. I'm coming. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm, when the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarms and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. follow your trail and I'm losing your mind and I'm losing your head. Let me escape from this love, cause I'm a prisoner. I just want to look my way and never back to you. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. I don't know where I am, I don't know where you take me, I don't know where you take me. I just follow your trail and I'm losing your mind and I'm losing your head. Let me escape from this love, cause I'm a prisoner. I just want to look my way and never back to you. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. I'm not above it. Let me be myself. Kiss me hard before you go. Summertime sadness. I just wanted you to know that baby, you're the best. I got my red dress on tonight, dancing in the dark in the pale moonlight. Done my hair up real big, beauty queen style, high heels off. I'm feeling alive. Oh my God, I feel it in the air, telephone wires above, sizzling like a snare. Honey, I'm on fire. I feel it everywhere. Nothing scares me anymore.
On la garde, she was all la zone. Yeah, red music, gave it on the sun. Yeah, anybody can make you all her own.
Welcome back everyone to the SimZone. We're here for the GT4 Championship, round 5 here at Monza, also known as the Temple of Speed. Currently got 15 cars out on track tonight, but one reserve, Amazing Pie Boy, good to see him out on track, but he won't be able to qualify for this qualifying session. We've already got some comments coming in. Good to see Jan Barth and Kieran in the comments, also JR showing his support for Deedee. Now having a look at the standings coming into this round, we have DeedeeTKU currently leading the championship on 378 points, but he's not here tonight, so that puts DeHuisRocker in a very good position in P2, 342 points, just a 36 point gap between the two drivers then. Then we've got Melvin in P3 on 322 points, 56 points behind DeedeeTKU, but I'm sure he'll be pipping DeedeeTKU after this round since he's not here. But quite close at the top nevertheless in the standings. Now we've got quite a mix of cars here out tonight, 4 Porsches actually, so that's the limit for that manufacturer. And a few Ginettas out tonight as well. They're going to struggle here at Monza. I think they do top out and they hit the rev limiter, as we've heard from a few of the drivers. Going to struggle slightly on the straights, but they'll make up for it, I'm sure, in the corners. And pole time expected to be around a 158. We've got a Porsche there jumping over the curbs. I think that was actually Cobb. Yes, it was. But yeah, 158 here in the GT4s on a fast track is the expected 158. Yes, is the expected pole time here. But still waiting for the drivers to set a time. Got a new driver here, Tibby, in the 79 Aston Martin. Good to see him out on track with us. And we're always open to new drivers. We do have 2 permanent spaces here on the GT4 drivers list. We've got Kieran in the comments saying got to give love to Howdo. Howdo is also in the Ginetta number 33. I believe that was Tibby's out lap. This will be his hot lap here, whereas Howdo is rounding off the Parabolica, a bit of a wiggle on the exit. And I think this may be He has out lap 2. I'm not too sure. Let's see if he crosses the line and sets the time. No. Oh, yes, he does. Sorry. 2 minutes, 0.2. And there we go. Kenny breaks that 2 minutes, 0.261, 300 separating those two drivers, but a lot of room for improvement. That was just their banker lap then. We've got the number 59 car of Armobic about to cross the line, and he puts it there into P3 with a 2:01. And there we go, first hot lap from Nino Tobin, 159.127, almost into the 158. So a good, I'd say, banker lap there from him. And TK Drifter topping the times there, 158.8 in the Ginetta. That's quite an amazing time for the Ginetta, and already proving that he should be a top class driver here in the GT4s. I think that was Melvin just giving way for the faster cars. There you go, Melvin in the 997 BMW, the only BMW out on track. We'll see how it performs. I know that's a Mercedes, that's DeHuisRocker. Is it? No, it's not. That would be Diff with the damage on the front of his car. That's not sure why he's continuing his lap. I would return that to the pits. He's got plenty of time to do so. But he may just want to set in a lap just in case he isn't able to get one done when returning to the pits. But we've got the number 55 car rounding off the final corner, Parabolica. So that's Swiss Rolls. I'm not sure if he's on a timed lap here. He crosses the line. No, he's not. So there we go. This is going to put him on a timed lap now. Got the 67 car of Kenny about to cross the line. It is an improvement. It improves by a tenth, but it's not enough to gain a position. We've got quite a few cars coming through Parabolica now, but I don't think anyone was able to improve. Cobb in P3. That's a good time there from him. We've got the 59 car, I think. Armobic crossing the line, 2.4 seconds off. No improvement there for him. And I think that was Nino as well, who does improve, but not by much. He's 1.7 tenths, sorry, behind TK Drifter, so TK Drifter still on pole position. And now the 255 car of Diff does seem to be on a lap as he crosses the line. What's it going to be for him? 3.6 seconds off. But he's carrying a substantial amount of damage on that AMG then. And TK Drifter improving his lap time at 158.7 for TK Drifter. Completely blitzing the field at the moment. We have seen Kenny doing 158.6s, I think. So we'll see if he can get his lap together. But I'm sure the nerves will be here tonight in the qualifying session. And that's the main thing on the day, would be the nerves, would be the adrenaline. To be able to put in that lap time. Howdo also 1.5 seconds off. He's rounding off the Parabolica now. Let's see if it's going to be an improvement for him. Looks to be a good corner. No wiggle this time around. And he crosses the line, puts it on pole position, 158.5 there from Howdo. The Ginettas surprisingly securing the front row. We've got Kieran in the comments saying, hoping that Bron, also known as Melvin, isn't being blocked by the Merc there. I don't think Melvin was on a flying lap, so that won't really affect him. But Kieran also expecting a lot from the Mercs, Mercedes out here tonight. DeHuisRocker, definitely one to keep an eye out for, but time is running out in this qualifying session. Nino Toblin puts it into P2 in the Porsche. 100th off of the provisional pole time set by Howdo. Extremely close at the top of the grid here. Now we've got the number 36 car of Deedee, the new driver here to the GT4s, trying out his luck. And I don't think there was any improvement there for him. And Kenny there, I think he improved. Melvin, there we go, puts it into P4. 5/10 off. Kenny with not an improvement, but he's halfway around the lap now. Coming through the Lesmos. So Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Oh, that's the Aston of Aston? I mean, McLaren of Armobic. Oh, that wasn't Armobic. That was Swiss Rolls in the background. So he's not going to be able to put in a time then. Where is the DeHuisRocker? Oh, he's got wide there. I think that may be his lap invalidated too. Let's hope not. Otherwise, he's going to be starting towards the back of the grid as well. But that's the 33 car, I think, returning it back to the pit. So Howardo not on for an improvement. That's his qualifying session over. Now the 67 car would be Kenny coming up towards the Parabolica. Possibly one of the most difficult corners on Monza. Easy to run wide, but here we go, taking the shortest line to the start-finish line here, to the timing line, and he puts it into P5, 1 second off. Not the qualifying he was hoping for, but nothing to be ashamed of there. Now let's go down to the 79 car. Yeah, there we go. Tibby, who's yet to set a lap time, coming to cross the line now. Is it going to be a time for him? 3.5 seconds off for Tibby. Very new driver here to the SimZone. 59 car of Armobic. Is he going to be able to improve his time? No, still 2.8 seconds off. Now the 111 car of TK Drifter. This is it. Crosses the line. No. Oh, he does improve. There we go. Puts it onto pole position. 3 thousandths quicker than Howardo. Unbelievable. And there we have it. Once again, the Ginettas securing the front row. So TK Drifter on pole position with Howardo on the front row. Nino Tobin and Melvin securing the second row. But that is your qualifying session then for race 1. Make sure to stay tuned because we'll be back for the race. we go then on the formation lap for race 1 on board with TK Drifter, who took pole position as we saw in qualifying, just 3 thousandths I think it was between the top two, TK Drifter and TSC Howardo. As you can see there, he seems to be trying to warm up his tyres, but drivers just be dragging the brake. That is probably the most effective way to get heat and heat into the heat into the tyres. God, I get my words together properly. But actually, no, I'm not sure what's happened to Howardo. That looks like a Porsche there behind. Has Howardo forgotten to press drive? He may have done, and I think that may start him from the pits, because I can't see him out on track at the moment. And he has, there we go. He's forgotten to press drive, so he'll be starting from the pit lane. And a disaster, very rookie error there from Howardo. And qualifying on the front row, he's having to start all the way back in the pits now. That's really unfortunate to see. But we'll see if Nino Tobin or Melvin can keep up with TK Drifter here at the start of the race. That's going to promote Nino Tobin to the front row. So he'll be alongside TK Drifter coming down into turn 1 then. There we go, track temp very hot, 32 degrees here at Monza. But as expected, much better than the UK weather as we've been seeing. There we go, there's your driver sitting on pole position, TK Drifter. You see all the fans cheering him on as well. And we're coming towards the end of this formation lap. Let's get your predictions in the comments of who you think will be the top 3 of this race. Deedee in the comments saying thanks for the support. I believe that would be from Jan, naming Kenny, Deedee and Amazing Pie Boy for his top 3. But here we go, drivers lining up side by side now, getting ready for the race start. And actually I think TK Drifter is going to have the front row to himself. But here we go, crossing the line now. We are green, green, green. Looks like TK Drifter hasn't got the best of starts. He's slightly pulling away, but Melvin in the BMW is already alongside him. Nino with nowhere to go. Drivers sticking to their side of the track, which is what we like to see. Let's hope they can keep it clean to turn 1. This is the moment of truth. TK Drifter late on the brakes, and oh, that's Diff. Very late on the brakes. Just tagging the Aston. No, he tagged someone up ahead. I think he may have tagged I Am Slow in the Porsche. So slightly late on the brakes, but I think everyone else has made it through cleanly. No, Swiss Rolls, for some reason, he stopped on the side of the track there. And Howardo is now out of the pits, but Swiss Rolls hasn't got going. Didn't see what happened to him. He doesn't seem to have any damage on the car there. But he just stopped on the side of the track. But let's go back to the race lead. TK Drifter currently leading the race. Melvin wasn't able to get the jump on him coming down into turn 1. You can see the Ginetta showing its true strength here in the corners of Monza. But it's down to the straights where it's going to struggle. And TK Drifter's best hope would be to try and gain as much time here in the corners, pull away as much as he can here to Melvin behind him, and then he'll have to pray and hope on the straights. But still says that there we go, Swiss Rolls is dropping down the order now, so the timing sheet's updating for us here. Kieran saying, where's Howdo? Yeah, Jan saying, starting from the pits, he didn't press the drive button in time, but Swiss Roll's still not moving. I'm not sure what's happened there to him. And here we go. Melvin and Nino are going to have the slipstream coming down into turn 1, but TK Drift has opened up a 6/10 gap. Is it going to be enough though? Here we go. Melvin now has the toe coming down the start finish straight. 5/10. It's dropping down the gap between these two. And look at the closing speed there from the BMWs. Already having a look up the inside. He's broke the slipstream quite early, but no, he's not able to get the move done yet. But you can see how close he is to TK Drifter now coming down into turn 1. Swiss Roll still hasn't got going yet. There could be an issue with his equipment. I'm not too sure here, but that's unfortunate to see. TK Drifter now, he's not going defensive. Melvin having a look up the inside. Is he later on the brakes? He was slightly, but not able to get the move done. TK Drifter leaving in the room, but he hasn't got the exit he wanted to, and that's Melvin going to have a look up the inside into the first Lesmos, and he's nearly got the move done. A bit of contact there. TK Drifter's not going to be happy with that move, but I didn't really see much wrong with that. Melvin had the inside and had the line, but obviously contact is not what you'd want to see there. Now TK Drifter's going to try and have to get the move done because he's got Nino Tobin very close behind him. He may even have to start defending here coming into... I forgot the corner name. Into Ascari, there we go. And here we go, Melvin moving over to the left very early. Maybe in an attempt to break the toe from TK Drifter, but it's not going to work. The Giannetta's going to max out on the straight. And with the help of the toe, he may be able to keep up. Where's Nemo Tobin gone? He's made a big mistake there coming through Ascari, and he's picked up some heavy damage on the front of that Porsche. And that's dropped him down all the way behind, or just in front. I think that's in front of Tibby, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is, and he's going into the pits there, so he's possibly going to be last. Swiss Rolls has got going there, so that's good to see. But he is a lap down, so Nino Tobin may be okay here. It's going to be close, actually. Melvin still holding on to the lead here. But look at this battle. DeHuisRocker just holding on to P5. Just a tenth separating him and SVW. You can see in the background Deedee as well, closing in to these two drivers up ahead. But the Mercedes not exactly where it would want to be. But DeHuisRocker, from starting towards the back of the grid, has made some good progress here. Had all his lap times invalidated due to track limits. But he's already up into P5. And Howardo, where is Howardo? He is down in P13. Obviously starting in the pits. So it's just damage limitation for him. That's Amazing Pie Boy having a look up the inside on Tibby. Tibby's gone wide. And that's going to let Amazing Pie Boy down the inside for the second Lesmos. Has he got the job done? Yes, he has. Oh, contact between Howardo and Tibby. That was a bit dirty there from Howardo. I think he's going to have to return the position. Otherwise, that's going to be a hefty penalty there for him. He's going to have another look up the inside on Amazing Pie Boy. And I'm sure Tibby's not going to be happy with that move. He's going to have the later. It's going to be later on the brakes, and he's got the move done coming into the Ascari chicane. But yeah, not what you like to see there from Howardo. One of the patrons here at the SimZone. That's Iron Slow, I believe, having a look up the outside on Diff. Is he going to make it work here coming through Parabolica? No, he's going to have to tuck back in. That may open the door for Armobic behind, but he's gone slightly wide through Parabolica and almost loses the car. You can see in the background Howardo taking advantage of the runoff coming through Parabolica. Really can't get my words together today, but Melvin just about holding on to TK Drifter here. The gap is still 5/10 between the two. TK Drifter's best bet is to try and stay in tow for as long as possible, but doesn't really seem to be doing so. You saw there through the Curva Grande. He's taking a different line to Melvin. And in the background, Kenny not too far off, 3.3 seconds, but he's got Cobb really hunting him down here. Cobb seems to have the pace advantage in the race, and Kenny really clattering the inside curb, and that hasn't helped his exit speed because Cobb is all over the back of him now coming into the Lesmos. Yeah, JR Sim Racing saying definitely redlining in the draft, even not in the draft, the Ginetta tops out. But he's been managing to keep up with Melvin here, and the gap says a second. It's much less than that. There we go, 6/10. You can see how much time he gains through the corners, and Melvin going slightly deep, coming through the Ascari chicane. That's really compromised his exit. That's going to allow TK Drifter to have a look up the inside. Melvin going defensive very early, but TK Drifter trying to pull out of the slipstream, but it's not going to help him here. He needs to stay in the slipstream for as long as possible and pull out at the last second. And here we go, he's going to be in the draft once again. But he's going to be topping out, and I don't think he's going to be able to get the move down into turn 1. He's going to have to hope for the corners once again. You can see there already Melvin pulling away from the Ginetta. He's breaking the slipstream. The Ginetta doesn't really need to stay in the draft of Melvin because he's already topped out. And there we go, he hasn't really lost any time down the start-finish straight, which is great for him. But let's go back down to this battle. Looks like Cobb has got past Kenny, so Cobb up into P3, the final podium position, but looks like Kenny's got the better exit here, and he's looking to fight back for an immediate reply coming into the second chicane. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Cobb not going defensive yet. He's kept it in the middle of the track, but back to the racing line, and Kenny's got the inside now. Later on the brakes, Cobb's left him the room, and Kenny's got the job done just about. Can Cobb get the switchback? He's got the better exit, and it could be possible, it could be viable here. He's going to have to look up the inside once again for an immediate reply, but Kenny has held it round the outside. He's gone slightly wide there, and Cobb's going to have the inside once again. Still side by side. This has allowed DeHuisRocker to close right on the back of these two, so a 3-car battle now for the final podium position. Still side by side, unbelievable driving from these two. They're going to be side by side now, coming up towards the Ascari chicane. Kenny's going to have the inside, but can Cobb be later on the brakes? Who's going to be the last of the late breakers here? Kenny is, and he's going to hold on there to P3. Cobb just about holding on to P4, but a bit of a wiggle there coming through Ascari, and that's allowed DeHuisRocker to get the run he needed. I don't think it's going to be enough. He's going to tuck back into the slipstream of Cobb. We know the Porsche GT4 is very good on straight line speed. Possibly one of the quickest GT4s, but he's let DeHuisRocker have the inside. And doesn't really want to be battling with him too much, but he's going to go for the switchback here. Is it going to work for him? I think he's slightly behind the AMG of DeHuisRocker. And he's going to have to tuck back in. Let's go back to the battle. Actually, no, not yet. You can see they're definitely using the slipstream to his advantage. DeHuisRocker having to go slightly defensive, kept his car in the middle of the track. But Cobb not looking to make a move there into turn 1. Let's switch back to this battle for P1. TK Drifter still not able to do anything at the moment. But running in P2 is great here for a Ginetta. And you can see through the corners the 111 Ginetta does catch up, but it's on the straight where it lacks. Sorry. And there we go. You look at the closing speed. Look at the speed he can carry through the corner. He's going to have a look up the inside. A little look. Just showing himself in the rearview mirrors of Melvin. That may have had an effect of him. He's ran slightly wide, kicked up a bit of the grass on exit, and he's going to have to go defensive now, coming up towards Ascari. You can see there, keeping the car in the middle of the track. But back over to the racing line now. I think Melvin's going to hold on once more. But it's just a matter of time, I think, before TK Drifter can get the move done. He's been applying constant pressure on Melvin. And Melvin really taking a lot of the curb through Ascari. And it's very risky to do so because one wrong move and he could find himself facing the wrong way on the exit of Ascari, as we saw earlier. Nino Tobin with some damage exiting Ascari, but let's switch the battle for P7. Diff doing a great job at defending against Deedee. Howardo, who's now in the mix. He's having a look up the inside on Deedee, coming towards the Parabolica. Is he going to be later on the brakes? He is. Deedee leaves him the room. And Howardo up into P8. I am slow. Right on the back of Deedee now. These two have been battling out for quite a while. Tibby has lost some positions. Amazing Pie Boy is up into P11. But this is the battle we want to be watching. Just 7.5 minutes left of the race and 3/10 separating the top two. Also, Kenny is now facing some pressure from DeHuisRocker. Will the AMG, the pure grunt of the AMG, be able to get past Kenny here? Kenny has held on for dear life here for the final podium spot. And he's done an amazing job. Cobb slightly dropping off of these guys up ahead. He's dropped off 5 seconds, so he's made a mistake somewhere, and that's SVW now once again fighting with Cobb. He seemed to have a little slide on the exit, but he's within a second and a half of Cobb up ahead. Now Kenny may have to defend coming down towards the Ascari chicane. I think the AMG might be running slightly higher wing here at Monza compared to the Porsche of Kenny. Coming through Ascari, no mistakes from either of the drivers. Let's hope I haven't spoken too soon. Nope, both of them. Oh, I did speak too soon! Oh my god! And a DeHuisRocker with a slide on the exit of Ascari. And yeah, I better not say anything next time, because that's definitely a curse that the commentators have. But he hasn't really lost too much time, possibly a 10th or 2 as a result of that slide. And he may just about have the toe coming down the start-finish straight, but look at the gap between TK Drifter and Melvin. It's a 10th. Melvin having to go defensive, but TK Drifter has topped out, and there's nothing he can really do. Look how slow Melvin there is going into turn 1. Possibly overslowed the car. But that's going to help him defend against TK Drifter. TK Drifter may be expecting that for the next lap around. He could take advantage of Melvin overslowing the car just by braking slightly later and trying it around the outside. But we'll see what he's able to do this next time around. Gap between Kenny and DeHuisRocker is 8/10 now, so it is slightly increasing. Howardo on the back of Diff, but he's not been able to get the move done yet. AMG with the superior straight line speed. Is Howardo going to have has the better exit there coming through the second chicane? He's going to have a look up the inside. Diff has nothing he can do to defend. He's going to try keep around the outside. That's almost put him onto the grass. But there we go. Howardo up into P7. I'm slow, still keeping Deedee within sight, but he's not able to close onto the back of him as of yet. Let's go back to this battle. Melvin just about holding on. I would not want to be Melvin here in the final few laps of this race. Seeing the Ginetta hunting you down lap after lap. And turn 1 is where it may be difficult here for Melvin, because the Ginetta does seem to be able to keep up, surprisingly. And there we go, Melvin going defensive now. Is he going to try and break the slipstream? The Ginetta of TK Drifter seems to be a bit further back this time around. And yes, he is, but he's later on the brakes. And no, he can't get anything done yet. Melvin a bit hot into the first chicane there, but it hasn't really compromised him much, because TK Drifter can't really get anything done at the moment. But we'll keep an eye on this battle. Seems to be the closest fight apart from Amazing Pie Boy and Tibby. Oh, Amazing Pie Boy with a mistake there, coming to the first chicane. That's allowed Tibby to close right up to the back of him. The gap is not 8 tenths anymore. It's about 4 or 3 between the two. We'll see as they cross the next sector line what the gap is. Should update any second now. There we go. Oh, 6 tenths. It says it's more, but it definitely, I think it's much less than that actually. Coming to the braking zone. That's just the concertina effect, and Tibby running slightly wide there. May have been okay. I didn't see any gravel get thrown up into the air. But he seems to be sticking with Amazing Pie Boy for now. Amazing Pie Boy with a little wiggle on the exit there of the second Lesmos. Needs to be careful. We've now got SVW on the back of Howardo, and I think Howardo's actually got the position done on SVW. So starting from the pits, he's managed to make his way back up into P6, and now he's looking to make the move on Cobb just ahead. Can Cobb hold on for another? I think it's going to be one more lap after this. It may be close. Where are the two leaders? Yeah, maybe one more lap after this. We'll see. Can Melvin make this the last lap? That would be what he ideally would be hoping for, because he doesn't have to defend for another. And that's Nino Tobin into the pits once again. What's happened there? Could it be fuel? Could it be damage? We're not sure here. It doesn't look like he's got any damage on the car of the or on that Porsche, from the backside at least. But it could be fuel. Cobb now maybe finding himself defending from Howdo in the last couple laps here at Monza. DeHuisRocker still within a few tenths of Kenny. It says 7 tenths. It looks to be slightly less than that. But you can see there the bottom right hand corner of your screen, that is DeHuisRocker's POV. And the top right hand corner is TK Drifter, so we can watch two battles at once. Armobic also into the pits, has some damage, but it's not much. I wouldn't say that's worth pitting. It could be fuel though. Yep, it is fuel because he's not repaired any damage. And there we go, back out onto the track. So miscalculation in fuel, but Howard right on the back of Cobb now. And I think it's just a matter of time. Cobb leaving the room for Howardo. I think Howardo's going to try around the outside. Very risky move, and it didn't pay off well because Cobb has kept on to P5 here. He's held on just about. But this is going to give him one more lap. Where is Melvin? Yep, it is one more lap for the drivers, GT4 drivers here at Monza. You know, still staying in the pit, so he's going to be a couple laps down. That may allow Swiss Rolls actually to get into P14. But look how close TK Drifter is. He's got one last lap, one last chance to get this move done. Howdo still not able to get past Cobb. He's actually lost some time, lost a lot of time. And he's now got SVW, but no, Diff, much later on the brakes, has made contact there with SVW, spinning him around, but SVW not losing any positions. And unfortunately, Diff has lost a couple there. He's lost one to Deedee. And he's now got I Am Slow very close behind him. But Diff misjudging his braking zone into turn 1. And SVW is not happy with that, but he's held on to his position. So he should be okay. Let's go back to the race leaders then. Where are they? Coming up to the Ascari chicane. Melvin having to go defensive. TK Drifter not alongside, so can't really get the move done here. And I can imagine how frustrating it must be by having the better cornering speeds, but lacking it all on the straights. And once again, he's not going to have the run he wants coming down towards the Parabolica. He's going to have a look around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. Look at that. Melvin in the BMW just has a superior straight line speed. And I think he's going to hold on here to P1. An extremely close finish between the two. I might be saying that too soon. TK Drifter trying to have the run. Melvin's going to hold the inside, but that's Melvin in P1. TK Drifter just about a tenth separating the top two. There we go in P2. Kenny running off the Parabolica in P3. A good finish there from Kenny. The DeHuisRocker just behind a second separating those two. Second, 1.7 seconds actually. So finishing in P4. Cobb in P5 holding off Howdo in P6. SVW in P7. DD in P8 holding off Diff in P9. Tibby. Oh, it's going to be a photo finish here between Tibby and Amazing Pieboy. Who's going to come out on top? It looks to be Tibby just about holding on to P10. Look at that 400ths between Tibby and Amazing Pieboy. And a great finish between the two. I am slow. What happened to him? I don't think he may have run out of fuel there. So he'll be finishing in... I'm not sure actually. Where is Armobic? He's coming through... Coming up towards the Ascari chicane. And as Swiss Rolls being a lap down, will finish in P14 probably, because I Am Slow will still finish a lap ahead of him. Armobic then will be finishing in P12. But unfortunate for I Am Slow, miscalculating his fuel as well. But he's got some hefty damage on the front of that McLaren. Now rounding off the Parabolica here. But what an amazing finish between the top two. And Tibby and Amazing Pieboy extremely close at the top. But there we go, Mobic crossing the line. That's going to leave I Am Slow in P13 and Swiss Rolls in P14. Nino Tobin in P15, unfortunately not continuing. But there we go, your race winner Melvin in P1, TK Drifter in P2 and Kenny in P3. Make sure to stay tuned for the second qualifying session. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Welcome back then for the second qualifying session of Monza. We got a few drivers that aren't allowed to qualify, so the top three from race 1, that would be Melvin, TK Drifter and Kenny, who aren't allowed to qualify here, but also Amazing Pie Boy since he is a reserve. But apart from that, everyone else will be allowed to qualify. Just another 10-minute session here. We'll go on board. Let's go on board with DeHuisRocker since we're already spectating him here. Let's see how he takes this lap. This is just an outlap for him. It'll be good to see how he takes the corners here at the Temple of Speed. Coming through Ascari now, a lot of the inside curve. You can do that in the GT4s, but it hasn't actually helped him here. And, it seems to be that as soon as we spectate someone, they make a mistake there, especially through Ascari. DeHuisRocker is the one to make the mistake last time, just as I said, and that he made it through cleanly. Maybe this is going to be coming on to his first flying lap then here at Monza, rounding off the Parabolica using all of the available runoff. Now taking the shortest line down the start finish straight. He actually has the Ginetta of Howard, so that's going to help Howard down the straights. But back on board with DeHuisRocker then. Braking at the 150 board, even the GT4s, using all of the curbing on the inside and the outside of the track. Coming through the Curva Grande. Let's see where he brakes here for the second chicane. You can see he's already 8/10 up on his lap time. There we go, nicely done by DeHuisRocker, using a lot of the curb on the second part of the chicane there, bouncing his car. Not sure if that's really helped his exit here. Now coming through the Lesmos, look through Lesmos 1. Doesn't seem to use much of the runoff. You can use a lot more than that to maximise your exit speed. But there we go, he's used more in the second Lesmos. Let's hope he can keep it together through Ascari this time around. Currently 1.4 seconds up, nearly 1.5 seconds up. There we go, on the brakes. Coming into Ascari, once again taking a lot of the inside curve, but it's much more cleaner through Ascari this time, using a lot of the second. The AMG completely ignores the sleeping policeman, and he is 2 seconds up at the moment. Looks like Howard has made a mistake. But here we go, coming through Parabolica now. He's got it tucked in very nicely, and now runs it wide on the exit. Once again using the curb and the runoff. Not as much this time around, but he's 2.5 seconds up. Where does this place him? What lap time is going to be? A 1:57.3 from DeHuisRocker. Very quick lap time there. That puts him on pole position, provisional pole, but the track is optimum this time around. So we're definitely going to see quicker times than we saw in the first qualifying session. But that is an astonishing lap there. And Howardo, I'm really not sure what he's doing there. That's not great to see at all. But I think he just wants to get some clean air in. Some clean track ahead of him. And it has helped. There we go, flying over the curbs. It's not the line you want to be taking at all. But yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing. Mr. C just saying was P1 in the first qualifying session. It was around about to 1:58.6, 1:58.7. Jan Barth also saying, what is Howard doing? Yeah, I think he's going to receive a warning for that. It's not what you want to see on the stream at all. But yeah, there we go. We've got the pole time of, let's just double check this. It was indeed a 1:58.5 in qualifying, in the first qualifying session. So DeHuisRocker putting in a 1:57.3, a second 1.2 seconds quicker than we saw in the first qualifying session. So you can see how much of a difference it makes for the track being optimum. And high attempts here. In the first qualifying session we had a track temp and ambient temp of 18 degrees Celsius. Now we've got a track temp of 32 degrees and ambient of 24, so much warmer this time around. And DeHuisRocker turning into the pits. I think he's confident with that lap time. Cobb puts it into P2, 1.4 seconds off. So no one able to get that close as of yet. But Howardo's still yet to put in a lap time. Swiss Rolls also. And we'll see if any of these drivers can pip DeHuisRocker to pole. I think Nino Tobin and Howardo, who qualified towards the front in Quali 1, will be the main suspects to do so, but Howardo really clattering the inside curbs there of the second chicane. Let's see if this is going to be a valid lap, because we saw him kicking up some gravel on the exit. It looks like he has calmed down now, so no cutting on the first corner anymore. And no taking the escape road, but that's not what we want to see. Now coming down towards Ascari, we've actually got the 255 car of Div rounding off the Parabolica. Let's see if this is going to be an improvement for him. 2.7 seconds off as he crosses the line now. Does improve by a tenth, but it's not enough for him to gain a position. They've got the 33 car of Howardo coming through the final sector. This would be his first valid flying lap. Could this see him on pole position? We'll see. Rounding off the Parabolica now, coming down the start-finish straight. Where is this going to put him? Crossing the start-finish line now, and it puts him in P2, a second off still. And he's got possibly this lap and another to improve that lap time. But we've now got the, I believe that's 19 car of Nino Tobin putting it into P3, 1.2 seconds off. And then the 79 car of TB also putting it in P7, 2.5 seconds off the provisional pole time. Number 55 also crossing the line. That is, there's number 55 gone. That's Swiss Rolls putting it in P10 provisionally. Amobic returning to the pit, so not going to be an improvement there for him. That's his qualifying session pretty much over. And there we go then, just watching TV coming through the second chicane, but we've got the 255 car of Diff once again rounding off the Parabolica. He'll have one more attempt after this to improve his lap time. Let's see if it's going to be an improvement for him. 2.6 seconds off, crosses the line now, and it's no improvement unfortunately for Sniff My Diff 255. But he's got one more opportunity, one more chance to do so, and the pressure is going to be on. He's going to be seeing that timer, watching that timer ticking down, knowing that this is his last chance to improve. Looks to be very clean there through the first chicane, and a nice line there as well through Diff, for Diff. There we go, the wait time is on, the time has gone down to 0, and we've got the number 19. Is there a 19 car? Yes there is. That's Nino Tobin taking a very tight line there, coming through Parabolica, and he is continuing on his lap. Is it going to be an improvement? Howdo has finished, and he crosses the line. No improvement there for Nino Tobin. So P3 provisionally for him, and Howdo in P2 as well. Who have we got? Got the 55 car of Swiss Rolls, 3.7 seconds off. He's continuing on the lap. Let's see if it's an improvement. Yes it is, 4/10 he improves by, but it's not enough to displace SV, who's on a lap at the moment. Crosses the line, puts it into P6. Good lap there from SVW. That's his lap over, and I think the only car at the moment who is on a lap would be Diff, who's coming through Ascari now. Oh, takes a lot of the inside curb there. Would that be invalid? Maybe. But he's continuing on his lap, so I assume not. As he's coming up to the Parabolica now, let's see if this will be an improvement. Oh, a bit of a latency issue there from Diff that may not have helped his lap time at all. But he's continuing on as he crosses the line now, and it was an improvement, and that's put him up into P. I was in P9 ready, but so close between Tibby and Diff. Diff not able to get that P8. But that's your qualifying session done. DeHuisRocker completely blitzing the field, a second clear of anyone. He's definitely one to watch out for in race 2. Howdo also on the front row. Nino Tobin and Cobb on the second row. But make sure to stay tuned because we'll be back for the second race in a couple of minutes. We go then on the formation lap for race 2. I just read something funny in the Discord general chat, so if you haven't seen that already, make sure to do so. But here we go, DeHuisRocker setting the pole time here in qualifying 2. That puts him on the front row for race 2 with Howdo alongside him on the front row, Nino Tobin and Cobb on the second row. And I am slow with a very good qualifying session in P5. But just quickly want to thank all the patrons here at the SimZone, 32 patrons. And if you aren't a patron yet, please do consider it. Helps us with the running costs here of the SimZone. Servers do cost monthly. You can see there in the background, Howdo really trying to warm up his tyres. But yeah, once again, thanks to all the patrons. Definitely couldn't keep the SimZone running without you guys. But Howdo with some extreme tyre warming tactics there. I'm sure he doesn't have traction control on at the moment. That's not going to help with his rear tyres at all though. He may start struggling towards the end of the race. But yeah, weaving is not the best thing to do. Just drag the brake and you'll save tyre life as well. But everyone weaving, it definitely does look good for the stream though, so I'll stop complaining about about that. But yeah, let's get your predictions in the chat for the top 3 of race 2 here. DeHuisRocker and Howdo. Even Nino Tobin definitely looking strong here for race 2, and Cobb, as we saw, had impeccable pace towards the later stages of race 1. He's definitely one to look out for as well. And as we saw, top 3 from race 1, TK Drifter, Kenny and Melvin all having to start from the back. Amazing Piper also a reserve, wasn't able to qualify. So they're going to have to make their way up through the field, but I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of effort for them. But we'll see with Howdo and DeHuisRocker at the top. Also, yeah, the 4 cars at the top on the front row aren't going to be easy to catch up to. But here we go. Drivers lining up side by side now, getting ready for lights out here at Monza for race 2. 30-minute race this one, no mandatory pit stop, and the weather is definitely in their favour. Got Joe Ramsey in the comments saying he thinks DeHuisRocker's in a GT3 car. Almost, yeah. But here we go, getting ready for the green flag here at race 2. For race 2 here at Monza, and we are green already. So there we go, green flags are waved, and that's SVW already having a look up the inside, making it 3 wide. That's not what you want to see at all. Drivers are advised to stick to their side of the track. There we go, still 3 wide, coming down into turn 1. He's going to have to back out of that one, and yes he does. There we go, makes it back 2 wide. Diff almost outbraking himself there, and he's caught. There's been contact. I think that may have been caused by Diff actually. I'm not too sure what happened there. But Monza, turn 1, chaos once again. And where's Diff? He's got some damage on the front end of that car, and I think that's... who is that in the background? That would be Swiss? No, he's got through cleanly. I think that was Armobic actually. If I can catch his name. There we go. Armobic having to drop back slightly. But not the worst. Monza turn 1, all the drivers, as you can see on the map, are still within close proximity of each other, so I don't think anyone has really lost out massively there. But we've got Howdo already up into the lead. And all 3 wide once again in the background. That's Cobb, SVW and Nino. All having a bit of a tussle there. Green flags are being waved once again. But it looks like Cobb is still holding on to P3 here. He's actually gained a position off the start. Nino Tobin down into P4. No, I say that. And the timing sheets have updated, so Nino Tobin into P3 once again, and Cobb down to P4, which was his qualifying position. But SVW looks to be very racy here tonight. He's going for a move on Cobb, coming up towards Parabolica. A bit too far back at the moment, so he's going to hold on to P5 for now. You can see in the background, Tibby has got a haul of cars behind him. Run slightly wide there through Parabolica, but that's a line you need to take. Melvin is right at the back of him already, so up into P8. Where is TK Drifter? Down in P12. Kenny down in P11, so Melvin making some good gains here at the start of the race. This is going to help him extend his gap to Kenny and TK Drifter. He's going to have a look up the inside. He's got the move done already. Coming down to turn 1. Is TB going to be later in the brakes? No, looks like Melvin is later in the brakes. He's got the move done very cleanly, very nicely into turn 1. That's how to do it. And there we go. Oh, there's a car off there. I think that's Amazing Pie Boy. Off into turn 1. Yes, it is. So not sure what's happened there. I think he may have had to take the escape road. You can see it's slightly damaged. But he may have outbraked himself into turn 1. But this is the battle we want to be watching. I think it's a 4-car battle actually. Nino, Tobin, Cobb, SVW and Diff all battling it out for the final podium position. But Nino Tobin's opened a slight gap to 3 cars behind. Cobb now having to defend heavily from SVW here. Coming down towards Ascari. Cobb is taking his natural racing line here. SVW is too far back to warrant a move at the moment, but he's going to try and focus on the exits. And look at that, his entry speed is much higher, and Cobb makes a mistake there through Ascari, almost loses the car, and SVW has gained a position out of that. Oh, making contact nearly. I think that's Cobb off onto the grass. Diff is trying to take advantage of that as well, and he's up 2 positions there. Gets past SVW and Cobb. He's up into P4. So good driving there from Diff. Definitely redeeming himself. And oh, he's lost the car on the exit of Parabolica. Got the back end out and hit the wall on the inside. SVW going wide through Parabolica. Got dramas here in the few opening laps at Monza, but Melvin now taking advantage, capitalising on the mistakes that both those drivers made. He's made up 2 positions on the start-finish straight, and he's going to hold on to P5 now. So good driving there from Melvin. And, that's what I like to call the Moses effect. As soon as he comes up to a few drivers, they part ways, and they allow him to take the position. But Kenny now has caught up to the back of these 2 up ahead. So is Tibby and Deedee. Deedee's actually got I Am Slow. Oh, what's happened to I Am Slow? He's made a mistake somewhere. TK Drifter has got the position off of him. So TK Drifter up into P11 now. But not the start he was hoping for. He's hoping to make some more positions because Melvin's already up into P5 and Kenny up into P8. You can see there's some slight damage on the nose of that Ginetta. That's I'm Slow running wide ever so slightly, but the damage possibly hindering TK Drifter. And look at this, it's going to be very close coming up towards the Ascari chicane. Let's hope they don't make it 3 wide, because that's going to end in disaster. No, Kenny backs out of that very sensibly, and it's going to be 2 wide. There we go, back into single file. And SVW holding on to P6. Kenny is really making his way through the field as well, already up into P7. Looking to make a move on SVW. I think SVW may have to go defensive. Or is Kenny having to go defensive because Diff is trying the outside? No, he's had to slot back in. And this is a train of cars here. That's Kenny just taking the back of SVW. He needs to be careful there. SVW just about holding onto the back of the car, onto his car, but this is definitely proper GT4 racing. There's always a bit of contact in the GT4s. But here we go, 4 cars line of stern coming down the start-finish straight now into turn 1. Kenny has a look up the inside on SVW. Is he going to be the last of the late breakers? Yes, he is. SVW leaves him the room, but Kenny has to back out of that one. And SVW holds on to the position once more. There's been contact in the background. There's TK Drifter making contact with DD, and there's another car off as well. I think that is our Mobic off in the background. But TK Drifter continuing. I think DD losing out there. I'm not sure if TK Drifter was at fault. I didn't quite catch what happened. But I think it may have been an incident with our Mobic. There's not really any way of checking apart from the replay on that one. That's one thing I forgot to use, the replay, but we'll use that later on in this race. DeHuisRocker still a second and a half back to Howard, but I'm sure the extreme weaving, it's gone up to 2 seconds now, but I'm sure the extreme weaving of Howard on the formation lap isn't going to help him in the later stages of this race. So let's see if DeHuisRocker can close the gap. Then we still got 22 minutes of the race to go, so early stages here. Let's bring up the full onboard here. Looks like TK Drifter is quite close to, that would be I Am Slow. Coming up towards the Ascari chicane. No, he's not able to get the move done yet. You can see on the left hand side of your screen, looks like Kenny is very close to SVW. Is he going to get the move done coming down towards turn 1? He's going to have the benefit of the slipstream. Let's see, he looks to have higher straight line speed. He's going to have a look up the inside. Is he going to be later on the brakes? He is, but that's not a move that's going to come off well. SVW leaves him the room. And no, Kenny has to back out of that. SVW holds on to the position once more, so good defending from SVW. These two battling is going to lose them time to Diff behind and Tibby. But Diff and Tibby have dropped off slightly to the two ahead, not able to match the pace of Kenny and SVW. The gap at the top has come down ever so slightly, 1.6 seconds once again. And looks like TK Drifter has got the move done on I Am Slow. So TK Drifter up another position into P10. And DeHuisRocker still keeping Howard within sights here. But he hasn't been able to close the gap. Keep an eye on the delta between those two. And look how many cars there are here coming up towards the Ascari chicane now for the 4th time this race. Oh, bit of a wiggle from Kenny. He's made a mistake there on the exit of Parabolica. He's going to Parabolica. What's the corner name? Ascari, and he's going to lose a position to Diff. I'm not sure if Tibby's got past nearly. Yes, he has, and Tibby's got the move done. So Kenny losing 2 positions from a slight error through Ascari, and we saw last time around in race 1, Nino Tobin doing the exact same thing, but Nino came off worse. We saw him with a lot of damage on the front end, but Kenny seems to have his car in pristine condition. So he got out lucky with that one. He's going to look to make the move back on Tibby. Look at the closing speed from Kenny. Tibby's going defensive. Kenny's going to have to try around the outside. Oh, he's going to be earlier on the brakes. Tibby very late on the brakes. And he's made the corner, surprisingly. And he's held on to the position just about, but look at that. TK Drifter has now joined in the party. He's going to be looking to capitalise on these two drivers battling up ahead. This is going to allow Diff, though, to open up a slight gap. It's not much, but it's given him some breathing room, and he has got some damage on the front end of that car. And on the rear, actually. Oh, that's SVW up ahead, having to cut the chicane. That's going to give him a warning, a track limit warning for that. But I don't think he's gained a huge amount of time to Diff behind. Actually, he may have, but I don't think it's anything to worry about because he would be penalised, and that's Diff very loose on the exit of the second Lesmos. But he somehow managed to keep that together there. Let's see what the delta is once it updates. If it's going to update, 4.8 seconds. But he's definitely lost some time there to the drivers behind him as well. And there's been a mistake from Tibi. He's taken too much of the inside curb coming through Ascari and almost lost the car. But he's going to lose the position to Kenny and TK Drifter, who both slipped through. You can see how crucial it is to not make any mistakes, because one mistake can lose you a number of positions there. Just in one corner, that's TK Drifter down the inside of Kenny. Kenny running wide. That's going to allow Tibi back down the inside almost. But I think Kenny's just about held on to that. Yes, he has then. And he's going to be closing down the gap to TK Drifter coming down the start-finish straight. The Porsche, one of the quickest GT4 cars in a straight line. Look at that, he's already closed the gap. Is he having a look up the inside? A bit too far back to make the move. So TK Drifter won't have to worry about that one. And Sniff, my diff, holding onto P7 provisionally, but he's got the Ginetta of TK Drifter hunting him down here. Swiss rolls into the pits. Doesn't have any damage on his car. He may have just repaired it though. Let's hope he can get back out on track, otherwise he won't be able to pick up any points here. There we go, he has been dropped from the jacks, so I think it would have been for damage repairs then. Gap at the top still 1.9 seconds, so it's bouncing between 2 and 1.5, and Diff has made a mistake, and that's crucial. Oh, almost tagging TK Drifter there, but I'm sure that would have been a brown pants moment for TK Drifter. He would have seen that in his rearview mirror. That was extremely close, but now Kenny's got the run coming down towards Ascari. I think Diff may just be able to hold on. He's going defensive now, keeping the car in the middle of the track, and Kenny's not going to be able to get this move done yet. He's going to have to focus on the better exit, and that's Diff running very deep into Ascari. I think Kenny's going to have the better run. Yes, he will. Diff is going to lose the position there to Kenny. Where is Tibi? Tibi very close to Diff, and I think he's also got the better exit, so he's going to have a look coming up towards Parabolica. Flash of lights there from him. I think he may know he's on stream actually, but he's got the move done. Very well done there from Tibi. Up the inside of Diff, so Diff down into P10 then. Kenny up into P8 and Tibi up into P9. They've got I Am Slow now catching up to the back of them, so he's joining in on the fun as well. And that's Diff. Is he going to try fight back for that position? Tibi going defensive, and Diff much earlier on the brakes had to back out of that. And look at that, 3-car battle now for P9. Kenny is broken away from this pack. Looks like Melvin is caught up to the back of Nino now, so Melvin making some really great gains here in this race. I think he's possibly gained the most number of positions. We are now halfway into the race here, just 15 minutes left to go. Oops, that wasn't meant to happen, my bad. Bit of a misclick there. I think that's the first time it's actually happened there. But, oh, we've had a retirement, and I think that would be Swiss Rose has retired the car, unfortunately. But here we go, Melvin looks to be closing in on Nino every corner, every lap. But Nino is holding his own. He's doing some great defensive work against Melvin's slightly different lines. He's taking a very different line through Parabolica, now coming down the start-finish straight. I think it's maybe in an attempt to break the slipstream, but it hasn't worked. Melvin has got the draft. He's having a look up the inside now, later on the brakes. Has he got the move done? Still side by side. Nina's going to try keep it around the outside. Melvin's given him the room, but he's going to have the outside for the second part, and Melvin's got the move done there. Great move there by Melvin up into P3 and Nino down into P4. The gap at the top is coming down slightly now. It is 1.4 seconds, so has Howder made a mistake there? He's losing time to DeHuisRocker. He's definitely going to be checking his rearview mirrors every now and then. And like I said, the extreme tyre warming wouldn't have helped him at all, because in the later stages of this race, he's possibly struggling with them. And both drivers taking different lines through the Lesmos. DeHuisRocker seems to use less of the runoff in the first Lesmos, but in the second he seems to use more. We've got Diff into the pits now. Could that be due to damage? Yes, he's repaired it on his car, and I'm sure he'll be back out on track shortly. But you can see the gap still around 1.4, 1.5 seconds. Not sure if it's increased or not. But we'll see once they cross the start-finish line. Let's go back down to this battle. Amazing Pie Boy seems to be closing up to the back of I Am Slow after his mistake into turn 1. Yep, still 1.5 seconds between the top two. Nino Tobin now losing time to Melvin, not able to keep with him after Melvin made the move on him last lap. You can see in the background as well, Deedee closing in on the back of these two just up ahead. He's going to want them to continue battling because he will take advantage of that. But Diff still in the pits. He's going to lose another lap. And he may not even pick up points for this race if he doesn't come out of the pits shortly. Now coming down towards the second chicane. Oh, contact between the two, and I think Amazing Pibo was a bit too late on the brakes there, and I made contact with I'm Slow, but he's lost the position by doing so, and that's exactly what Deedee would have wanted. We've got Tibby into the pits as well, as is our Mobic, so I'm not sure what's going on here. 3 drivers now sat in the pits, but contact between I'm Slow and Amazing Pieboy, and Deedee's caught right up to the back of I'm Slow. Then you can see the rear bumper of I'm Slow quite damaged in that incident. Is Deedee going to have a look up the inside coming towards the Ascari chicane? Yes, he is, but he may not be able to get the move done. I think I'm Slow slightly ahead. No, Deedee's later on the brakes, and he's got the move done there. So good move there by Deedee. And this is the battle we want to see now. SVW, Cobb, and Nino Tobin. Nino's lost the position to... He's lost quite a few positions. He's made a mistake somewhere. Now he's got Cobb up the inside of him. Also, TK Drifter has joined in on the action, so he's made quite a few gains here in this race. He's going to have a look up the inside, but he's not close enough to get the move done. And that's Nino Tobin just moving back over to the inside. He's late on the brakes, just about holding off TK Drifter there. But this is allowing SVW to break away from the pack. 4 cars into the pits now. I'm Slow pitting for what I would assume would be damage repairs. There we go, our Mobic back out on track. That's good to see. Back on to this battle. Pretty much a 4-car battle for P4, but SVW is pulling away slightly. You can see there in the background Kenny as well. Would be great to see him in this battle. Nino Tobin losing a position there to TK Drifter, so TK Drifter up into P6, and Nino losing a number of positions after sitting in P3 for most of the race. And look at the gap at the top, it has come down 7/10 between the two, and I knew Howder would be struggling in the later stages of this race due to those tyres. And it's paid off for DeHuisRocker. Different lines through Parabolica though. Howder using a slightly wider line, but I don't really think that's going to help him coming down the start-finish straight. He's gained 3/10 though, but I think that's going to be all lost now coming down this start-finish straight into turn 1. But DeHuisRocker's much later on the brakes, and he can carry just that extra speed through the first part of the chicane. And we'll keep an eye on the delta between those two. Good to see Diff and I Am Slow back out on track now. Tibby still in the pits, so I think that may be his race over. Let's go back to this battle. TK Drifter on the outside for turn 1. Nino Tobin still holding on. He had to take the escape road there. He would have made contact with Cobb otherwise, but Cobb's made a mistake as well, and he's lost out a position. Kenny's possibly going to get past. Where is Nino Tobin? Nino is he's lost a position to TK Drifter, but he's still on the back of him. Could be some incident reports after this second race here, but I'm sure Cobb's not going to be happy with that one. I think he may have been tagged ever so slightly coming into turn 1, but I may be wrong. Gap at the top still 8/10. Let's bring on the onboards here. We can see exactly what DeHuisRocker is seeing in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. But here we go. Kenny has got Cobb right behind him. It's not close enough yet, but he should be wary about him because he's going to have the tow coming down the start-finish straight now. Let's look back to this battle. I think Nino's lost out slightly. He has, and TK Drift is going to have a look up on the outside for SVW coming into turn 1. SVW is defending the inside. He's moved back over to the racing line. TK Drift is now going to have a look up the inside, but no, he just doesn't have that speed on the straights. You can see he loses it on the top end at the end of the straight, and this is going to allow Nino Tobin to catch up once again to these two up ahead. And look at the gap at the top. Look how close it is. There's so many battles going on in the final few laps of this race. Howdo's having to think about defending now from DeHuisRocker. Coming down towards Ascari now. DeHuisRocker is going to have the benefit of the slipstream, but he's not close enough once again. I think he's just going to have to focus on the exit here. The Mercedes looks so much more comfortable through Ascari than the Ginetta does, especially over the curbs. I say that, I always speak too soon there. DeHuisRocker running slightly wide through Ascari, but he hasn't lost any time though. He's coming down towards Parabolica now. Not going to have a look up the inside. He's just biding his time here, being ever so patient. It's exactly what he needs to do here, but he's lost some time coming through Parabolica. That seems to be where the Ginetta excels. You see there, Howdo opening the gap to almost 7/10, but it's going to come right down now, coming down in towards turn 1. Howdo having to go defensive, just a precautionary move. But he's made a mistake. He's made a big mistake there coming to turn 1. DeHuisRocker had to avoid him, and he wasn't able to capitalise on that mistake. So still sits in P2. I think Howdo may have benefited slightly from his own mistake, which we don't usually see. But here we go. TK Drifter is possibly going to have to defend. Yes, he is going defensive very early Coming down towards turn 1, Nino Tobin having a look up the inside. There's just enough room. But no, he has to back out of that. TK Drifter holds on once more. And he is a sitting duck on the straights. The Ginetta tops out. But you can see he's gained it in the corners. Let's go to the onboard here of DeHuisRocker. See how close he is to Howardo there. Coming up towards Ascari now. He's having a look up the inside, just showing his nose there, but Howardo going extremely defensive coming up towards the Ascari chicane. This is going to benefit DeHuisRocker on the exit, because Howardo's going to be deep there coming through Ascari, and no, DeHuisRocker nearly making a mistake. You can see there, no time gained, that would have been track limits for him, but the closing speed he's got on the Ginetta is absolutely amazing. He's closing in at a rate of knots, but he's not able to get alongside before Parabolica. The Mercedes with a slight bit of oversteer there, that's not going to help his exit either. Back to this battle, Nino Tobin still on the back of TK Drifter, Tibby in the pits, 5 laps down, needs to complete 75% of the race to gain points. He is back out on track as soon as I say that. So good to see there. Kenny now on the back of SVW, but not able to get past. P7 is still a good position for him, considering he started at back, but compared to his rivals here, Melvin and TK Drifter, they are in P3 and P4 respectively. But the gap between TK Drifter and Melvin is 23 seconds. You can see how much time he's lost, and the gap at the top is extremely close, a tenth between the two. And oh, DeHuisRocker's lost the car somewhere. He has to be careful reversing back on track. That's Melvin having to take evasive action because DeHuisRocker was blocking the track there. And he's dropped down into P3. Melvin back up into P2. You see there Tibby in the background. He's got some damage on the front end of that car. So he's definitely made a mistake somewhere. Didn't quite catch that. But that's going to benefit Howardo, because he's got a huge lead now. Where is Melvin? Melvin's actually not too far back, but with this, I think this may be... We may have one more lap after this. It's going to be quite close. Yeah, there should be one more lap after this. We'll see. Maybe wrong, but yeah, 2 seconds separating Melvin and Howardo. You can see how much time they've lost just by battling it out. Melvin, starting towards the back of the grid, has made some amazing moves to put himself into the P2. Let's go back down to this battle then. Looks like that's SVW holding on. He's opened the gap up. But Nino Tobin's into the pits. What's happened there? Could that be fuel once again? Misjudging his fuel, I think he has. SVW has opened a substantial gap to Cobb behind him, 2.3 seconds. Nino Tobin dropping down the order. Timer has gone to 0. So yes, it is one more lap. Leaders are on the final lap now. Green flag is being waved. It would have been a yellow. That may have been for Nino Tobin. That's Tibby letting the leaders through. Great sportsmanship there from Tibby, but look how close the top two are. Still says DeHuisRocker is in second, which is not correct. And Howardo's... Oh, sorry, I didn't actually quite catch that. Howardo has lost the lead of the race to Melvin. So Melvin up into P1. Yeah, it still says DeHuisRocker's in P... Oh, he is in P1, sorry. What's happened here? He's DeHuisRocker I'm really confused. I think the comments may need to help you with this one, whoever's watching. I think Melvin and Howardo have made a mistake, and that's put DeHuisRocker into P1. They're definitely come into contact somewhere. Oh, Howardo's into the wall there. What's happened there? Could it be a an equipment failure? I think so, because he didn't seem to turn for that corner at all. Melvin, where is Melvin? He's continued going. And Howardo is going to lose position after position there. Can't get the car going. That's DeHuisRocker back into the lead of the race. Where is Melvin? He's 5.8 seconds back. So I think DeHuisRocker is going to come out on top, and Howdo hasn't got going yet. So something's definitely happened to him. It may be an equipment failure. We have heard in the past that he has had issues with his wheel. Mr. CJ saying exploded tyre, I'm not too sure. And there we go, DeHuisRocker finishing the race with P1, driving through the damage he had. Melvin in P2, TK Drifter rounding off the final corner in P3. A good finish there from TK Drifter. SVW in P4, I'm sure he's going to be happy picking up a good haul of points there. Cobb in P5. Also another great finish from Cobb. DD in P6. Looks like Kenny's run out of fuel as well. He's returned it to the pits with DD in P6. That's going to promote him ahead of Kenny. Yes, he's already ahead. So there we go. DD in P6. Amazing Pibo in P7. Howdo into the pits. Kenny into the pits. I Am Slow finished the race in P10. Our Mobic is going to be in P11. I think Kenny may hold on to P9 here since he is a lap ahead. But unfortunately running out of fuel there. So our Mobic crossing the line now in P11. Where is Div? Rounding off the final corner in P12. Ah, there we go. Howdo ran out of fuel. So another miscalculation of fuel. And I think that's the main culprit of DNFs here. I wouldn't say DNFs, but main culprit of not crossing the line. That's different completely. Going through the bollards there. Again, not great, but it is the end of the race. There we go. DeHuisRocker finishing in P1, Melvin in P2, and TK Drifter in P3. That is your top 3 for race 2. And make sure to tune in on Saturday then for the PC Championship, PC GT3 Championship here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. But until then, have a great evening and have a great week. And we'll see you then. Good night.